The snow fell silently on the upscale Toronto neighborhood, blanketing the sprawling mansions in a deceptive serenity. The quiet streets, lined with opulent homes, seemed untouched by the troubles of the world, creating an almost surreal atmosphere. Behind the walls of one such home, a horrifying scene lay undiscovered. The tranquility of the snow-covered landscape belied the grim reality within. Barry and Honey Sherman, Canadian philanthropists and pharmaceutical titans, were gone. Their lives, once filled with purpose and generosity, had been abruptly and violently cut short. Their deaths, as mysterious as they were tragic, would grip the nation and spark an investigation riddled with twists, dead ends, and a haunting question. Who could have committed such a heinous act? The search for answers would lead investigators down a labyrinthine path. Barry Sherman, the founder of generic drug giant Apotex, was a man who commanded attention. His influence in the pharmaceutical industry was unparalleled. His brilliance and ambition had built a pharmaceutical empire, but not without making enemies along the way. His business acumen was matched only by the controversies that often surrounded him. Honey, his beloved wife, was a woman known for her grace, warmth, and unwavering commitment to charitable causes. Her presence was a beacon of hope and kindness in the community. Together they were a formidable pair, their names synonymous with success and generosity. Their partnership was a testament to their shared vision and dedication. The Sherman story was one of rags to riches, a testament to hard work and determination. They had overcome numerous obstacles to achieve their dreams. Their rise to prominence was an inspiration to many, making their sudden and violent deaths all the more shocking. The community was left in a state of disbelief and sorrow. As news of the tragedy spread, a collective gasp rippled through the city. The shock waves were felt far and wide, touching the hearts of those who knew them and even those who didn't. Friends, family, and strangers alike grappled with the same unsettling question: how could this happen? The sense of loss was palpable, and the search for answers became a shared quest. The investigation into the Sherman murders quickly became one of the most high-profile cases in Canadian history. The complexity of the case drew in experts from various fields. The eyes of the world turned to Toronto, eager for answers in a mystery that seemed ripped from the pages of a crime novel. The media frenzy added pressure to the already intense investigation. The truth, however, remained elusive, hidden beneath layers of speculation, whispered rumors, and the chilling reality that even in the heart of affluence, darkness can lurk. The search for justice continues, as the memory of Barry and Honey Sherman endures. The day began like any other for Barry and Honey Sherman. It was December 13th, 2017, and the air held the crisp bite of an approaching Canadian winter. Their days were usually a whirlwind of meetings, phone calls, and philanthropic endeavors, but they always made time for each other. That afternoon, the couple met with architects at their sprawling mansion in the exclusive North York neighborhood. Plans were underway for a new home, a testament to their enduring love and shared dreams for the future. Honey, ever the attentive hostess, ensured everyone felt welcome and comfortable. As the meeting drew to a close, Honey excused herself, leaving Barry to finalize details with the architects. It was around 5:30 p.m. when she left, her departure seemingly ordinary, a fleeting moment that would later become tragically significant. Later that evening, Barry sent emails, his words reflecting his usual sharp intellect and drive. He made plans for upcoming meetings, his focus unwavering despite the late hour. There was no hint of trouble, no indication that this would be his final correspondence. What happened in the hours that followed remains a chilling mystery. The seemingly ordinary day gave way to an unspeakable tragedy, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and a void that could never be filled. 2 days later, the silence of the Sherman mansion was shattered by an unexpected and horrifying discovery. It was December 15th, and a chill hung heavy in the air, both literally and figuratively. The serene, snow-covered neighborhood masked the dark events that were about to unfold. The couple's realtor, arriving for a scheduled showing of the property, made a gruesome discovery that would send shockwaves through the city. What was supposed to be a routine visit turned into a nightmare. The realtor, accustomed to the opulence and warmth that usually permeated the Sherman home, was immediately struck by an unsettling feeling. Something felt amiss, a sense of foreboding that was impossible to ignore. An unnatural stillness hung in the air, a stark contrast to the usual vibrancy of the home. The silence was almost deafening, amplifying the realtor's growing unease. Venturing towards the indoor pool area, a sense of dread crept over the realtor. Each step felt heavier than the last, as if the house itself was warning them to turn back. There, in a chilling tableau, lay the bodies of Barry and Honey Sherman. The sight was both surreal and horrifying, a scene straight out of a nightmare. They were found side by side, semi-seated, their lifeless eyes staring blankly ahead. The image was haunting, their once vibrant lives now reduced to a grim spectacle. Belts were looped around their necks, secured to a railing, holding them in a macabre embrace. The methodical nature of their positioning added to the horror. The scene was as perplexing as it was horrifying. The meticulous arrangement of the bodies suggested a sinister intent, leaving investigators baffled. There were no signs of a struggle, no forced entry, no indication of what could have led to such a gruesome end. The pristine condition of the house only deepened the mystery. The house, usually bustling with life and laughter, was now a tomb, its silence heavy with the weight of unanswered questions. The once warm and inviting mansion had become a place of dread. The realtor, shaken to their core, immediately contacted the authorities. Their voice trembled as they relayed the horrifying scene they had stumbled upon. As police swarmed the property, the magnitude of the tragedy began to sink in. The investigation would be long and arduous, with more questions than answers. The Shermans, pillars of the community, were gone, leaving behind a legacy shrouded in mystery and grief. Their deaths left a void that would be felt for years to come, a tragic end to lives that had touched so many. The initial response to the Shermans' deaths was a mixture of shock and disbelief. The community was left reeling, unable to comprehend the sudden loss of such prominent figures. As news of the tragedy spread, speculation ran rampant. The media was abuzz with theories, each more sensational than the last. How could a couple so successful, so beloved, meet such a tragic end? Their storybook life seemed to have taken a dark and unexpected turn. The strange circumstances surrounding their deaths only fueled the public's insatiable appetite for answers. Theories ranged from financial disputes to personal vendettas. The lack of forced entry, the eerie positioning of the bodies, and the absence of a suicide note all pointed towards a chilling possibility. This was no ordinary double suicide. The scene was too meticulously arranged to be a spur-of-the-moment act. Initially, investigators explored the possibility of a murder-suicide. It seemed like a plausible explanation, given the lack of forced entry. Barry, a man known for his relentless drive and ambition, was also known to have enemies. His business dealings had not always been smooth. Could he have harmed Honey before taking his own life? The theory seemed to fit, but something felt off. However, as forensic evidence emerged, the murder-suicide theory began to unravel. The evidence didn't align with the initial assumptions. The autopsies revealed that Honey had suffered blunt force trauma to her face, suggesting she had been attacked before her death. This was a critical piece of the puzzle. The positioning of the bodies, too perfect, too staged, hinted at something more sinister. It was as if someone wanted to send a message. 6 weeks after the bodies were discovered, the investigation took a dramatic turn. New evidence had come to light, changing the course of the case. The Toronto Police Service announced that they were now treating the case as a double homicide. This was no longer a matter of family tragedy, but a criminal investigation. Barry and Honey Sherman, they declared, had been targeted. The couple had been victims of a calculated attack. Someone had entered their home, subdued them, and staged their deaths to look like a suicide. The question was, who? Who could have orchestrated such a meticulous plan? The announcement sent shockwaves through the city. People were stunned, and the media frenzy intensified. The Shermans, once thought to be victims of a tragic personal drama, were now the casualties of a calculated and cold-blooded murder. The community mourned, but also demanded justice. The hunt was on for their killer. The police were determined to uncover the truth and bring the perpetrator to justice. In the dim light of the room, a shadow flickered on the wall, hinting at an unseen presence. It was a subtle reminder that sometimes what we don't see can be just as significant as what we do. The shadow moved, almost as if it had a life of its own, casting an eerie feeling over the entire space. It was a moment that made everyone pause, reflecting on the mysteries that still lingered in the air. Success often comes at a cost. For some, it's the relentless pressure and the long hours. For others, it's the sacrifices made along the way. But what happens when the price of success becomes too high? In the midst of their grief, the family seeks answers. They plead for justice, hoping that the truth will come to light. Their voices, filled with pain and determination, echo a universal demand for accountability. The investigation reveals a complex web of clues. Each piece of evidence, though seemingly insignificant on its own, begins to form a larger picture. It's a puzzle that demands patience and meticulous attention to detail. Despite the progress made, many questions remain unanswered. The uncertainty weighs heavily, leaving a sense of unease. As the search for truth continues, the lingering questions remind us of the complexities of this case.